Have you ever wondered how some people have rags to riches stories, leaving poverty behind and piling up the money? It just takes one friend to help you. If you have someone to help steer you in the right direction, you can soon be on your way to a financially independent retirement. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm gonna share the 3 things my friends learned in order to get rich. Are you ready? Let's go! First thing that my friend learned is to have access to information or knowledge. If you're like my friend who's been in a cycle of poverty his whole life, then it means you've had no access to information or knowledge. Now, imagine if everyone around you was the same way. What would happen? Well, if everyone else around me is still in the same cycle of poverty and doesn't see anywhere else out, and my friends are still stuck in the same place, that means I have no access to information about how to get out of this bottomless pit we're in. And that's what makes it so difficult for poor people to get rich. Rich people get richer because they know how to make money. They have access to the information and knowledge on how to do that. They can also give us advice about investing money in stocks because they've lived through it themselves. I was reading about this stock buying thing and I was like, hey, this is something the rich do. But I had no idea how to get started. So this is what I did. I read books, watched videos, and read articles online. I read books about Warren Buffett and his stock market strategies. I read books on wealth building. I even read a book on business marketing. You can never be too prepared when it comes to business. What's great about these books is that they lay out all the information you need to know in order to be successful in life. And they tell you how it's done by the rich guys who've already done it. Once it clicked inside my head that this was something I could do too, once I understood how they did it, it was an easy decision. So now that you know what to buy stocks with, go find your first one. The second thing my friend learned is changing the mindset. When we're faced with a trigger, it can be easy to get caught up in the moment and react without thinking. But if you want to make your life better, you have to think first. So when that trigger flipped in my brain and I saw how it would affect my spending habits, I saw how I would view the world from an economic standpoint. Suddenly, I didn't want to buy things that would make me happy for a few weeks or even a year. I knew money doesn't buy happiness, so why spend it on things that don't matter? My spending habits completely changed from wanting to satisfy myself with big purchases so I could feel excited or happy with my things, to making sure that every single purchase was significant and actually helped me progress forward towards financial freedom. Indeed, before, my friend used to view the world in a very different way. He used to spend his money on things like Xboxes and iPhones because those were the things that he wanted. He didn't care about anything else. The problem was that he didn't see them as investments. He saw them as purchases. Buying them made him feel good about himself, but it didn't change his life at all. And then, one day, he bought waste management stock and it changed everything. When he bought that one share, it changed his perspective and everything. Now, instead of spending all of his money on things that don't make him feel good about himself, he goes out and buys shares of companies that are going to grow into something big. And now, he has an investment portfolio that's worth millions of dollars. And not just because of the money itself, but because of what that money represents: hard work and success. Third thing that my friend learned is ownership. I'm sure you've heard the saying, you are what you eat. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's true, especially when it comes to your financial diet. When you invest in the stock market, you're also investing in yourself, into your future, your freedom, and maybe even your security. You're probably thinking, I want to start investing into the stock market, but I don't have any money. Well, that's what most people think, but it's not true. You could start investing with just 1 penny. The trick to making money in the stock market isn't to have a lot of money to invest. The trick is to start investing in the first place. You win by building the habit of investing and doing it consistently over time. It's just like going to the gym. You don't get in shape by already having muscles and endurance. You go to the gym and start working on those things so you can build them up gradually over time. You see, there's nothing wrong with being poor. In fact, it can be a great thing. You get to learn what it's like to live on the edge, and you get to see how people overcome their obstacles by working together and learning from each other. And that's what we want for you. So as long as you keep your eye on the ball, you can make sure you're always on the right path. And if you'd like to learn more about investing, then check out this video where I give you some inside tips on one of the best passive income investment vehicles in the world. See you there!